That's what we mean when we say don't get too into the plot, because you'll find those holes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like when you do something to like, it's like when you like draw or paint a T-shirt or something like that, and you like paint a logo, and it's like from far away it looks really nice, but when you like get closer, you can see where you kind of like it's a little squiggly, and it's not as sharp as if it were like made by a machine.
It
was one of those movies where it's like, please don't look too close. Please don't look and see how my pants are held up by safety. Like, back away. Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Del.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today we watched Bad Boys.
Yes, this is going to be a bit of a double feature, but we're starting off with Bad Boys. So as always, IMDb. Two hip detectives protect a witness to a murder while investigating a case of stolen heroin from the evidence storage room from their police precinct.
Okay, yeah. I think that's pretty good.
Not too shabby.
That was a pretty good summary, I think. So as usual, starting off with things we liked about this one.
Yes.
You want to kick it off, or?
Yeah, I can kick it off. I thought this movie started off really well in terms of like establishing the characters and their different like quirks and personalities. Mm-hmm. Like that first scene with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in the car. I can't remember what kind of car, but fancy car, where they're bickering the whole time, and then they're like they have guns pointed at them, and then they use their bickering to their advantage, and then get the drop on the guys. Like, good first scene to like introduce us to the world of these bad boys. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought throughout the movie they had like really good chemistry together, and I also liked their little like how they like kind of kept doing that gimmick of kind of having Mike be that kind of like unhinged cop who might snap at any moment, and then Marcus is kind of like panicking, and then it kind of confuses the bad guys, and they're able to take advantage. So I thought that was kind of like fun to watch every time it happened. I guess I also liked the overall like premise of this movie, at least once they got to like the role switching part where Marcus is pretending to be Mike and vice versa. I thought it just lent itself to a lot of like funny moments and a lot of like, I don't know, shenanigans that I thought were kind of fun to watch in this one. So I like the overall like premise of this one.
One of the specific scenes I really enjoyed was the basketball court scene where their boss is like trying to hit a three-pointer or something, and they're like talking, and that's when the whole premise of the whole "I pretended to be you, Mike" thing was introduced to Will Smith's character. Basically, just like that backdrop with the boss being like, "I shot a bunch of these before you guys came here." It just was really funny to me.
That was fun. I also thought some of the action scenes were pretty fun, especially like the car chase scenes in this one. I thought they were just like fun watching them kind of like speed around in the like sports car and do the chases. And I thought some of the other action scenes were good too. There were like a few where they were like kind of running around chasing each other that I thought were like kind of fun to watch. I did have some other problems with some of the action scenes, but for the most part, I thought they were pretty fun.
Yeah. One of the last scenes I had that I enjoyed was with the whole pretending to be each other thing. Of course, we got some good hijinks. I liked the one where Marcus was thinking that his wife was cheating scene. That whole where the witness was like, "Yeah, it's hard to believe that someone has tied someone like Marcus down," talking about Will Smith's character. He just seems so like charismatic and like rugged and strong and handsome. And he's like, yeah. And it's hard to be around him and not like as a woman and not want to like do him. And he's like, "Oh hell!" Just like that entire sequence was funny to me.
I think those were all the things I had written down. I didn't write any specific scenes for this one. But you have anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. All right. I guess getting into negatives now.
Yes.
I guess I'll kick it off. Yeah, I guess my main problem, I thought, like, the main plot, like, the whole drug thing wasn't that interesting in and of itself.
Oh, my God.
Like, the movie itself was, like, fun because, like, you had Will Smith and Martin Lawrence kind of just, like, joking around the whole time. Like, their chemistry was good. Really funny, but, like, once it got to like the main plot, it was just like I don't know, it was like very generic and like not that just not like nothing really stood out from the plot itself, at least to
Not
me.
only that, but it was so buried in there. It was
Yeah.
so weird because, like, I forgot that they were doing a drug thing
Mm-hmm.
until, like, it got to, like, maybe, like, like a third, we had a third left in the movie or something like that. And then the witness was like, and then something was revealed. And she was like, "Oh yeah, we gotta get this drug bust." And she's like, "Oh, that's why you're actually helping. You don't care about me. It's the drugs." And I was like, "The drugs! I forgot about the
Yeah, no,
drugs."
you really do kind of forget about it, you know, and like you don't like there's like points where I didn't know which bad guys were which, or like, or she was like identifying people at the crime. Like I don't remember. She could say anything at this way. Like I don't remember who was at the scene of that crime. Like I barely remember what happened there, you know. But yeah, that was
But
like my
yeah,
main
that was
problem. It just wasn't that interesting, or like it was like
yeah.
hidden. It was like kind of like in the background almost. Like I feel like the main plot of the movie shouldn't feel like it's interrupting from like the enjoyment of the movie, you know. And it kind of felt like
Yeah.
that in this one. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I forgot about the drug thing completely. And I wrote it in my notes too. I was like, when they mentioned the drugs, I forgot that that was happening.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the movie would have been much more streamlined if they had just made it this, like, pretending to be each other plot, basically, while they're dealing with the witness. Because that is what the
Mhm.
movie was. But then all of a sudden the drugs popped up out of nowhere, and you're like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It seemed like it was there to like kind of keep the thing moving, but like it wasn't really moving anywhere anyway. So like,
No,
I
it
don't
wasn't keeping
know.
anything
Yeah,
moving.
yeah,
And like you said, and they randomly have her like ID people, and I'm like, who is this? Who
yep,
is this? Like,
yep.
oh no, that was too much. Uh, for me, there were also, maybe this has to do with the fact that the drug plot was so buried, but there were so many. But I felt like there were quite a few extra scenes in this movie that like
Hmm.
they could have been on the cutting room floor. Like for example, the gas station scene where they were trying to, where she like wanted to get shampoo or something like that, and then the person at the gas station ended up holding them up, and I was like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
what
No,
does
I'm
this
like I
mean?
barely remember the scene, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I remember
but
what you're
like there
talking
were a
about.
couple scenes like that where it's like, this isn't advancing the story, and this
Hmm.
movie's 2 hours, and we both made the bad decision of, spoiler alert, the next movie we're doing is Bad Boys 2, of
Yeah,
watching these back to back, so you can only do so much, and it was,
yeah, yeah.
whew.
Um,
But yeah, it's a lot of no unnecessary scenes in here.
yeah, yeah. My other problem, I thought like a lot of the action scenes were like it was very hard to tell where you were in space for a lot of them. Like I
Oh
don't know,
my
like I
god.
mentioned the chasing. Like I feel like they were chasing, and it was like I swear they went from like rooftops to like some random like model shoot. I guess like that like very like white kind of scene thing, and then
Yeah.
like they were like an airplane. Like it was just like very hard, like hard to see how they got from like point A to point B during fights, and like
It was
also
classic Michael Bay.
yeah, 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 and then
Like
I think it was no, that might have been the next one, but yeah, no, this is some of the action scenes got a little like chaotic and hard to follow. You know?
Yeah, this one wasn't as bad with that. We'll talk about
Yeah,
it later, but I
yeah,
think it was the next one you're thinking of, because
yeah.
this
This
one
one's
was
definitely worse.
comparatively, this one was more streamlined in terms of
Mm,
like, I can follow the story of what's going on, even though
yeah,
you add that random drug thing that I forgot
yeah,
about. Like, I
yeah.
can more or less follow what's going on.
It was more streamlined in
It's
every way, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, in pretty much every way. It was a little insane. The last thing for me was basically just the pretending to be each other plot was kind of drawn out a little bit too much.
Hmm.
While I do enjoy the premise of it, it kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we were like just retreading the same exact jokes over and over and over and again. I was like, okay, this needs to be revealed right now. Like, come on, someone find out.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was honestly during that like bulk of the film where I felt like the like main plot really got lost. You know, like we were kind of
Yeah,
just watching them kind of do their shenanigans for a good chunk of the movie in the middle there.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think I had anything else specific for this one.
No, I don't have anything else for this.
Okay, yeah. Final or ratings. Yeah.
Yes.
um, yeah. I guess I'll start it off.
Hmm.
I actually did give this one a 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought it was like really like I got a lot of like laughter out of this one. And yeah, I did enjoy it. Again, like the plot was so in the background that I don't think it was yeah, like I didn't think the plot was great or anything, but you know, I did enjoy kind of that initial premise of them kind of like I don't know, pretending to be each other. I thought the actors had really good chemistry that just led to like a lot of like just funny moments on screen. Um, yeah, so I think overall I did enjoy this one. Like, it's definitely not a movie I'd like pay super close attention to, but I think it's kind of perfectly fills that kind of like have a movie on in the background once you look in, like you're doing something else, but once you look in, like you're
Yeah.
seeing a good funny scene at every kind of moment, you know. Yeah, I don't know how like watching it all the way through it is like funny, but you know it does get a little tiring at times. But I definitely did have a good time with this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 for much of the same reason as you. It wasn't particularly spectacular or anything like that, but Will Smith's hella charismatic, and
Mm-hmm.
he and Martin Lawrence together have really good buddy cop chemistry that definitely made this movie work in places where with lesser actors or actors with less chemistry, it wouldn't have worked as well if we didn't have these two at the helm. So that was very good. But yeah, it's just like very middle of the road action movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand why some people really like this because when I was reading the Wikipedia to make sure I got all the plot points, it said that this has a bit of a cult following, and I
Yeah.
can definitely see why. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty enjoyable action movie, especially for the time it was released. I think.
Yeah, yeah. No, it definitely is a fun one. Like at it,
Yeah,
like as a whole, it is a fun little package too. Once you like consider
as a
all
whole,
things.
just don't look too close at certain things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Don't get your microscope out. Don't start analyzing
Yeah.
it. Don't do your movie review on it. But you know,
Yeah.
it is fun. You know. All right. Final question: do you wish you saw Bad Boys sooner?
I'm gonna surprise everyone and say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only because I think I saw Bad Boys 2 first, and I don't know how
Okay.
that happened. So, if only so I could see it before I saw Bad Boys 2, which I somehow saw before this one, and I don't understand that. So, yes, in terms of that, but in general, if I had not seen either of them, I would have been fine.
Okay. Yeah, mine is also a yes. Kind of by default. Like I've already seen this one. I'd already seen the first one, which also speaks to how like not memorable this plot was. Like the way I was still struggling to understand the plot or just to follow the plot. And like this was my second time seeing it, and I was like, all right, what happened in this one? I was like, oh yeah, that did happen, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of have to say yes. I actually did see this a few years before we even started doing this show, but yeah, I did enjoy it a little more the second time. I think like. Again, once you like understand that like the plot's not gonna be what you're paying attention to, you kind of do just listen to the
No.
jokes and stuff, and like you catch more jokes the second time around and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's a yes by default for me for this one. But yeah, that was Bad Boys 1. YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below. And we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye!
But yeah, I guess that was Bad Boys 1.
Bad boys.
Yeah.
Ready to do the second one. Whew.
Yep.